Hi everybody, this is Roxy and I am making some sympathy cards. For this card I used the distress inks, and I kind of just did a little technique that I will show. But I thought I had stamped the inside with this Brilliance because it has a little pearlescence. So I thought instead of distress inks, I'm going to see what the Brilliance can do for that. And at the end I just masked out the dragonfly and the sentiment and then spritzed on some of the distress colors with a paintbrush. So I'll show how I did it all. Hopefully the Brilliance will kind of work with me. So, oh, that's pretty. That's kind of a green, but it's not a real green. So let me see. I found ivy, so I think I'm going to use that for the stem, and these two for the dragonfly, the flowers, and maybe the little sprig of wildflower. And then I also have gold, which is going to be nice to spritz if this works. So I'm just wondering how, you know, distress inks is almost like a watercolor. So this is pigment. It might not be as forgiving as the distress, but we'll see. So off I go. I'm using my smaller brushes for the technique I'm doing. You can use, there's medium-sized ones. I forgot to bring them back to my art layer because I had to wash them. So here we're gonna put it the same spot as my other card. And here's my little mask for when I need that. All right. Let's see, we'll start with the light colors. And I just did this. All the way around. Because you don't need a lot. You know, you can also just stamp the stamp with the pad, but that doesn't always look the best because it kind of gets the edge of the pad line and you go over the other parts. So I thought this might be a little more easier forgiving. Get those off. I'll do this here. These get stuck on. Okay. Then I just do this one at a time. So I have 4 of these. Well, the pinks I'll do together. So Thank you all so much for the wishes for sympathy for my sister. Tomorrow is the funeral, and it's gonna be a tough one. She had a huge, church, and everybody loved her dearly because she's deserved it. It's not showing up really strongly here. But I wrote her eulogy, and I made a slideshow so everybody can see every aspect of her life. Well, I'll go with that. So that one I can use for the flower too. These smaller ones actually work a little better because you can get into more, of the areas that overlap a little bit, like him. See, this is getting a little, might be too light. What I should do is just do ink pad to paper or to stamp. That might work better. For my little thing. It's coming. It's a little better. Oh, that's better. Now we gotta get him all colored up. I'm worried the green might be a little too much, but we'll see what happens. Maybe if I just do it from the plastic thingy here. Ooh, that works for me. Then, my little sewing needle. I didn't mention this last time, but my dad would usually, we'd go fishing. And that's usually when the sewing needle would come around, because they love being out on the water. And, of course, I was yakking all the time, talking away. And so that's when he would say, if you're not careful, that sewing needle is going to shut your mouth, sew your mouth shut. And so it's like, I think now that I look back, of course, He only said that to shut my mouth up. And I'm like, thanks a lot, Dad. I was telling important things, I'm sure. It's weird how that got yellow. Strange. Wonder if it was still distressing from the... But I washed it. I thought this might be a little more opalescent for the dragonfly, using the brilliance. Yeah, that looks nice. I think I need more. The purple's not... Oops. Look what I almost did. That would have been a bad deal. So, you know, I told you about our kitchen sink, you know. So that happened. Flooded the basement. Or rained in the basement, I should say. Didn't flood it, thank God. Then, what's that? We found out that the water softener, I think I'm going to do this to 2 cards. So I'll be back. I don't want you to have to watch all that. Oh yeah, well maybe I will, then I'll finish my story. Last time I did, and I'm getting yelled at. Not really. So, it's purple. So then the water softener went out. Because, you know, the house is 17 years old, so as are the appliances. So, we got a new water softener in yesterday. And the guy comes up. He goes, now, I'm not a... What is the electrician? No, I'm not a plumber. Because I'm more an electrician. But he said, I noticed that your furnace is leaking. I'm like, what do you mean leaking? He goes, well, there's water pouring out of it. And I'm like, well, that's not a leak. That's... Pouring is not a leak. But he goes, I kind of think that maybe your air conditioning unit might need Freon because the A coil on the furnace is freezing up. And I'm like, great. So I called, and I had just had, you know, we're on this thing, our utility company has a thing called HomeSmart where you can pay like, I think it's $50 a month, and you can put eight appliances on it. So like we have our 2 fireplaces, refrigerator, stove, dishwasher, furnace, air conditioner, I think water heater. Is that 8? Or is that like 9 or 10? Anyways, we have all that on there. And I just had the guy come out and maintain the air conditioner. He's really a nice guy. He came here last year, the year before, and he said, yep, it all looks good. Well, it don't look good. So I don't know how he would have missed Freon, because I think there's a dial for that. But anyways, so got to get them back out. But this guy was so nice. He goes, well, I shop vacked up all the water. I'm like, oh my gosh, how much water is down there? So it came down and it was all over the, like the water softener already soaked up the rugs we have down in front of it in our storage room. Like they were sopping wet. So that dried up. Now the furnace, via the air conditioner, just got them all wet again. So it's been super fun at the Furlong house. I'm missing part of him. Oops. Is that the right color? Oh, no. Wrong color. I think I forgot to tell the kitchen faucet plumber story. That's the guy who started all this. He installed the faucet and left, and then that was 7 in the morning on a Friday. 7 o'clock at night on a Saturday, the next Saturday, Bill goes out to the kitchen. Of course, he's, barefoot, and there's water all over the kitchen floor, which we already replaced because the refrigerator last year, 2 years ago, the refrigerator water dispenser thing, this little teeny, it's like that wide of a hose, leaked all over the floor, and we had tile floor, but they didn't grout it, they butted it up, and because of that it got under the tile. So we had to replace all the flooring in the kitchen, laundry room, hallway, entryway, and down the front hall. So that was fun. So this plumber comes, does that. So we called Home Depot, and they're like, oh, well, there's really nothing we can do now. I'm like, it's raining in our basement. Raining. I said, I can send you a video if you want. Well, no, I believe you. It's like, well, Ben, if you do, send somebody out, please. So we had to wait till Monday for the guy to come back. He came back and he looked and he goes, oh, well, yeah, your hoses are leaking. We're like, yeah, we're aware of that. That we know. So I was sitting at the dining room table busy with a project. So I didn't even look behind me. But he left the house, came back in. Pretty soon he had like a hacksaw and grunting and groaning. I'm like, what is he doing? So I can't do this and talk. So he comes back, does all this banging and clanging and sawing, and says, okay, it's all ready. And I'm like, okay. He said, yeah, I replaced the... Where's this color? Oh, yeah. He goes, yeah, I replaced the water lines with new ones. Good ones, new good ones. And I said, okay. So he left. Well, we look under there. And we had the really good cable ones, and he put in these plastic ones. So we had, Home Depot was sending out somebody to assess the damage, but we thought we better get somebody else in here first that is going to assess it for us, not Home Depot. So my friend suggested a guy. He came out, and he's like, well, yeah, those water line hose or whatever, he said, that's just really cheap plastic. You want the woven cable kind. So the guy from Home Depot came out, and I was in the shower at the time. And I was getting out, I could hear Bill talking to the guy, and I can tell Bill's getting like, he's not raising his voice, but you can just tell he was like having to argue with this guy, and I thought, I better get my little self out there so we could tag team him. Because he was saying, well, no, those hoses came with the faucet. And I'm like, no, they didn't. And Bill said, no, I took it all out, and there weren't any, these weren't with them. And I said, well, he said, oh no, he goes, he would have put those on when he was here. And I said, well, here, see, that's the thing. He came back and was futzing with it. And then he left the house, went out to his truck, came back in, and started to hacksaw and put those on. So he obviously got the stuff from his truck, because we didn't have those. We didn't have them laying around. You know, if they came with the, and I said, and if they came with the faucet, why wouldn't he have put them on right away? And that was when he kind of finally was, oh yeah, good point. I said, we're done. Go get our stuff handled, and we'll wait for you to pay for it. But that's just how tricky they are. I mean, they thought, I think they got, you know, just because you hire it out, you don't know what you're doing. But it's like, no, we know how things work. We just don't want to have to try to deal with it. Because in our past, you know, when we were younger, we put all kinds of faucets in and, you know, fixed water lines and stuff in our first houses. But it's like, we got to the point where it's just like, it's such a hassle. It's never easy. You always got to go back to the hardware store about 18 times because you don't have all, you know. And we just decided, you know, we can kind of afford it. Why put the hassle in our lives? So that's what Bill thought. I'm going to get a new faucet. They can come put it together, and we'll be as happy as clams. Well, that's not how it turned out. But it is going to get fixed. I do like these colors better. Except I do wish that was yellow, but it's kind of orangey peachy. But they're a little more shimmery, pretty. So we do not need, we do not need one more thing piled on top of the pile. So how are you guys? Now that I'm yakking about my problems. But they're not problems because there are always solutions. And thank goodness the guy came out for the water softener and was so nice to tell me, because he says we're not supposed to do this, but, you know, he goes, and I think he knows because he probably does his own water softener and stuff. He knew exactly, or I mean, furnace and stuff. Because he knew exactly, he was exactly right. So, although they haven't come out yet to look at it. Because then, see, then what you do is you call our power, I'm sure you guys have this. Our power company is called Excel, which, you know, is kind of a goofy name. But anyways, you call them under the Home Smart department or whatever. And then they send out, they contract with certain people and they send them out. So I'm going to have to send my little guy out again and find out how he missed it. Because I don't want, I mean, in that case, you know, if it was something he missed and it damaged the furnace, I kind of think that Excel's going to have to pay for that. Because the whole point of having it tuned up and whatnot is so that, you know, things don't get ruined. And he even said, when he looked at, and he did the air conditioner, he said, oh yeah, he goes, it's really in good condition. You guys got at least a few more years left with it. I'm like, oh, hope we didn't ruin anything. But everybody's human, right? Can't be perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to do the sentiment. I'm going to wipe this off so I don't put my hand in it and get it all over everything. would we do without baby wipes? I ask you. So that's the Your Creative Studio. It's really a pretty stamp. I do like it. Then we're going to do, this is Posh Impressions. And then this one is Stamp Boutique. I don't even know if they're around, but it's really cool. I love it. I suppose I was out of camera that whole time. I hope not, because some people will yell at me again. Stay in camera. And I try to, but then I get yakking and moving. Could move these out of the way. Move these. Put this away so I don't do anything bad with it. Oh, the gold. Yeah, I gotta keep the gold out. So I can get, I hope I can get that to work. I'll have to test it first. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Here we go again. Oh, yes. Been raining for 2 days. My sister's funeral is tomorrow. I hope it doesn't rain. It's always such a gloomy feeling when it's raining at a funeral. Although I suppose it just goes hand in hand. So weird making her. See, that looks. I must go down. Making her slideshow. It's like, oh my gosh, I just can't believe that we're never gonna see her again. You know, because she was kind of our trickster. She was wily. She was funny. She was super, super talented. She was so artistic. I mean, she's the one who influenced me to be crafty since I was 3. She did a caricature of me when I was 3 years old, and I was just so amazed by it. I did one too, but mine was just obviously all scribbles. But it was just that moment. I still to this day, it's like, oh my gosh, I just love, you know, I want to do that. And she was so gifted. I mean, the woman could paint, she could sketch, she did beautiful calligraphy, mixed media, everything. She was uber, uber talented. Won lots of awards, doesn't even matter. But she was so talented. Photography, everything. There we go. This is way better than the Distress inks. Only because it's a little more easy to, you know, like, it's a little more, less watercolory. But I did a little mist over that, so I shouldn't say it's not the distressed ink itself, it's the technique. And the operator, probably. So here's my little mask that I will need. So why am I showing it to you and acting like I'm going to put it away? Okay. Yeah, I got to stay off Facebook Marketplace. I found a really cool set of, where am I? What I got to, oh yeah, I got it. Somebody was selling Stampin' Up! Stamps. And I should stay off there because I saw a couple background stamps. I was like, oh my god, that'd be so cute. They were polka dots and it was so cute. So I said, you know, it was like 15 bucks. They had them on the driveway because it was the end of a garage sale. So I'm like, 15 bucks, you know. I like these 3 stamps. It's worth 15 bucks. I go there, it's this huge box. Oh, Stampin' Up! Sets. And they're plastic things. And I must have kept about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 12 of them. This is one of them. It's really cute though. It's like another dragonfly. And an icky worm or caterpillar. But nice bee and butterfly. Oh, snail's ick. Ick, ick, ick. Alright, here I go. I forgot what I was doing. Oh, I'm so spacey lately. Okay. So, I do want to put down a towel. These are my little, where is it? There it is. These are little, the Kleenex, they're like towels. They come in a box. Like a hand towel. I love them. But I don't want to get everything everywhere. So, I should probably practice on something. Just to see how good it's going to be. If this is even going to work. See, I don't know. I'm not getting nothing. That's there. Maybe might be too thick of an ink to do that. Yeah, it's not gonna work. There. You know what I think I should do? Well, that could work. Yeah, that's alright, I guess. So we'll try that. Try that. I had a little teeny bit of tape on there. And on here. I should just do gold maybe. Although and I think because that's so hard, or it's not, it's almost like too much like a dust. Yeah, so I think I'm going to do the, go back to the distressing for this part of it. That should be okay. So it's subtle. I don't want it to overpower. There. Okay. Alright, so then I just when it dries, I'll stamp that in there again, and then my name on the back. So let me know what you think, and I'll see you later. Thanks so much for watching, and thank you so much for your support and kindness and well wishes. I really, really appreciate it. Bye.